All right, guys, welcome to the Challenged Podcast, episode number one. I'm really excited for this one. Today we have Mason Kai. Mason, hello.
Hello,
How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Mason, and here with me I've got Rage Bacon 11, Reagan. He's here as usual. Say hello, Reagan.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Uh, Mason Kai is a professional producer, all right? And today we're going to ask him some questions about, the music industry and, what he's learned about it.
He knows
So
his stuff.
he knows his
Been out
stuff.
there for a while.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for coming on, Mason. Thank you for giving us your time. All right.
Yes, of course.
So to start off, Mason, just how would you describe yourself? If you were to come up with someone in public, like who are you? What would you say?
I would say that this is a tough one.
Starting off with a
Um,
hard question.
Started off with a banger.
Absolutely, as
Um,
usual.
I would say that I'm a introverted guy,
Okay.
but once you get to know me, then it's not so
He's a bundle of fun.
introverted. It's more fun that way. It's not just
It's not
the
awkward.
quiet side. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I agree to that. I agree.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, Mason. You got to tell us how and when did you get into music? All right. What was the spark that lit the flame?
Okay, so I feel like there are multiple moments. One, I always grew up going to the Dallas Stars games
Okay.
with my father and with my brother, and I would say it's a little cheesy, but they'd always play like Martin Garrix and like all of like the hype songs whenever the players are warming up,
Yep.
and I'd always hear that. I'm like, oh, that sounds like really cool. I'd like love to make that stuff. And
Okay.
then so, I mean, I feel like that was the initial start of just when it started and got in my head, and then I think what year is it now? 2022. I think that would be. Hmm, maybe that was sophomore year around Christmas time of actually when I started.
Okay.
I got a free software called LMMS LMMS. It was
Wow.
like some free software. It was like
Sounds professional.
I watched like all these YouTube videos for it, and this one dude, I don't even know who he was. He did great on the YouTube videos though. I mean, the software is just limited, but
Okay.
that's what I
Okay.
first started out on.
Interesting.
Awesome. Awesome. So, tell us. You mentioned Martin Garrix as one of your main inspirations, at least at a young age. What type of music is your preferred genre to produce? What is your forte?
Okay, so I mean, I'll probably produce anything as long as it pays me. Um, but um, but I feel like I have a love for like it'd be the EDM music scene, but it'd be like future bass music, which would be like your top artist would be like Illenium, who like
Okay.
made the
Okay.
song "Good Things Fall Apart" with John Bellion. That like think it was pretty popular. That'd be like that genre, or some other artists being Nurko or Said the Sky. So it's just more of like this that genre to me is more like it's pretty emotional. Like there's always like these emotional guitars or piano,
Hmm.
and you can convey your emotions a lot better through
Okay.
that genre of music.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
I feel
sense.
like that's probably why, for me at least, why
Okay.
I chose that one.
So it's not pure electronic. It's got some true musical
No,
instruments to back it to show that emotion.
yeah, most of the songs are mm, probably 60% natural sounding elements,
Okay.
whether that be guitar, piano, normal stuff like that.
Stringed instruments and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. To make
Okay.
it sound a little more natural and
Yeah.
human-like instead of
Yeah.
such robotic.
So you mentioned LMMS, if I got that correctly.
Yeah,
What producing software do you use currently? Because you aren't one to like make music as instruments, correct? You produce.
yeah,
So what's your
that
preferred
is great.
software?
Um, I mean, I've started out on FL Studio. Um, that's the one. There's this one YouTuber who is an artist. His name's Jonas Aiden. He he had like these phenomenal YouTube videos, and that's the software he used. And it's like in my head, it'd be like that'd be so cool, be like him, use
Okay.
his software. And then plus watching those YouTube videos, if I've watched them enough, I know how he uses it.
Yeah, you know
So
how it works.
it would just be easier for me to use the same software and just bring it into my stuff, and I can translate better that way.
All right. All right. Awesome. Yeah. So you mentioned these young aspirations. What is a hurdle you've had to overcome in your music career? What has been a difficult challenge or something that you've had to an obstacle you've had to get around?
Mm. I'd probably say for me, it would be like uh try to put your music out there and let
Okay.
it's a little daunting and probably intimidating at first because you put your stuff out there and it's like that's such a, like a raw aspect of who you are or like what you did. That's what you made. That's like your
Hmm.
product. And it's like you put it out there and you let everyone look at it
Okay.
and you're just like, look at me. And then everyone in your mind, you feel like everyone's just gonna like literally tear it to pieces and then just like tell you to die. Like that's how you feel in your
You feel
mind. And if you
vulnerable.
do it, yeah, yeah,
Especially when you're an introvert like me, like I can understand. It's like, oh man, this
No,
is
no,
weird.
it's nerve
Like
wracking.
yeah,
yeah. And you put it out there, and then there's probably like no one's probably just there are people, but like you first put it out there, it's like not everyone's gonna find your music and then just like tear it to pieces. There are people out there usually like that just search for the vulnerable and kill them. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. And speaking
but that's
as
how you see it in your mind.
yeah, of
yeah,
course, as it like an artist in a different way myself, getting into video creation, which takes time and effort. Even simple videos take a lot of work and a lot of learning. And yeah, putting it out there, like you're afraid of that dislike button. You're afraid of those comments. You don't know what people are going to say about what you've made. And it is a vulnerable position. So I see where you're coming from.
Hmm.
I think the best way to look at that is take it as constructive criticism. See if they point out anything, then you can work on that, whatnot. At least when it comes
Yeah.
to videos, I'm sure
Absolutely.
music is like that too. But
Hmm.
No, yeah. And
No, yeah.
coming from like video wise, I mean, really something I've learned, especially about any work that I've done, is that you will allow people to get to you. There will always be people saying negative things about you, but you perceive everything. And so there's always a way to put stuff in a better light to make it constructive and try and improve yourself because you always can.
Yeah.
right,
So, yeah. All right, Mason Kai, we have to know, have you done any collabs or will you do any collabs now or in the future?
I have not currently done any, but I would be more than welcome to doing some. I feel like
Okay.
that's always like that'd be like a dream, or not just say a dream, just like a goal.
Okay.
Um,
yeah,
Okay.
great
to do
opportunity
that.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you want a vocal, like someone to do vocals to collab with you, or would you like another producer to make an EDM style
Um,
song with you?
I mean, I feel like a vocalist. That'd be cool to do. It's just, I mean, you're going to be starting off lower level.
Hmm.
Find someone who fits your style and fits your your experience. Um, but then also working with an individual artist, that'd be a good growing experience
Yeah.
because you get to, even if they're not that much ahead of you, you can still see what they've done and
Mm,
what they can do, and then you can compare uh, styles and ideas, and you can kind of grow from that.
I
yeah.
kind of have a follow up question. Like, what is the best way for you to like reach out to those people to even collab with them, or do they reach out to you? Like, how
That's
do
a
you
good question.
get yourself out there?
Okay, so yeah,
Or are you
it's
like
not
still
an.
working on that?
I mean, it's not an easy one, but because most of the time, like the meme of like all the collab stuff is just like the DM collab question
Hmm.
mark, and it becomes impersonal and stuff. But like, I feel like the probably the best way to do it is you're gonna have to like spend a lot of time finding someone at your same level, or maybe a little bit like a little bit above you, where they have some quote unquote clout to offer you,
Right.
and
No,
you
that
can
makes
kind of
sense.
use that. So I feel like you either just like search on just like SoundCloud, find like random people, same style of music, look on Instagram, just find people like that, and then actually listen to their music and then be sincere. See if you guys could fit together, and
Hmm.
if you think you could, then you just give them the direct message saying just like, "Hey, like I think that," or to start off saying that compliment them on how you like XYZ song,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
like this style, and then you just go for from there, trying to build more of a like a connection and personal relationship.
yeah. That makes sense. Huh.
No, absolutely. Yeah, coming from I I've done photography in the past and working with other photographers or any sort of art. It's not a simple process of just saying, "Hey, we should do something," and then you do something. It's
Right.
something where you guys have to have similar viewpoints and really understand each other to make your two styles mix.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Okay.
like, do you use platforms to show off your stuff that you maybe already made? I think I know you have SoundCloud, but like, do you
Yeah,
use any other social media, whatnot?
I mean, I have my Instagram.
Hmm.
I have my link tree, so
Okay.
Jack will put that in
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put that in the description of
the
the video.
in the description.
I'm sure I could
But
do a timestamp, you know, link that,
Hmm.
all
yeah,
your links.
yeah. I mean, right now I'm just on SoundCloud. A goal of mine is to. I don't want to, because you can go out there and put your music on any platform without a label,
Yeah.
and I personally do not want to do that first. Unless the opportunity present itself and I need to do that and it was a great opportunity, then yeah. But for me, a goal of mine would be to actually get on whatever size label and to get on Spotify that way. So it's more of just like I proved or I kind of earned that. I feel like at
Yeah.
least
No,
that's what
Okay.
I would try.
Try and get
that
the
makes
attention
sense.
of that big label or whatever size.
Yeah, yeah,
Many people see labels as being a bad thing, a big monster that steals all your money. Michael Jackson's a
hmm
great example of when he did Thriller. He didn't see much of the money from that. He still made a lot of money, but the labels really made the money. What are your
yeah.
opinion on labels? Do you know much about them?
Um, it's a mix. It's a mixed feeling because the label you sign a contract, and as soon as you sign that contract, you do not own the song anymore
Okay.
at all. Like pretty much at
You
all.
sign away all
All you
rights?
Hmm.
yeah, you pretty much
Wow.
sign
Wow.
the final project is usually called the master of the project. So you sign away the master and you give them that now. In return, you cut a deal and say I get XY% of the streams
Oh, like a
of
royalty.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get paid that way.
You get
But
your
some
yeah.
labels also do upfront fees or like payments, and then they
Yeah,
pay
they'll
you
do
out over
upfront
time.
payments as well.
Um,
Okay.
I feel like well, they're good because they're still around.
Hmm.
They're more of a business than like a anything else, so they're wanting to make money.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but so the thing is that like, hmm, but for the smaller, like if you self-released without a label,
Hmm.
you get to have all the money. You just don't have the big name that goes with the label. So
Okay.
like if you release on is that like Capitol Records or like
Death Row
something,
Records,
yeah, Death Row
which
Records or
is
something like
huge. That's
that.
Snoop Dogg's label.
Yeah, they're like if you release on one of those, you get the massive name and all their distribution and their marketing.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a huge boost.
Yeah, you get if you get on that, it's kind of like, well, your career pretty much is you're in a good spot. You're pretty much set.
Okay. Okay.
But if you self-release, you have none of that, and you are the business yourself now, and you have to do all the marketing, the
Hmm.
pre-release, the post-release, the strategies. You have to like you're your own hype man, and sure you can get a team later down the road, but like starting off, it's like triple the work trying to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my thought. They're both good and bad sides of the record label, and good and bad of the self-releasing.
Okay. Yeah. Great to learn. Absolutely. Very helpful. So I say we take a break from the serious. All right, Mason. Let us know. Do you cats or dogs?
Okay, so for me, cats, 100%.
Okay. Okay. Probably an unpopular
Um,
opinion, but why?
probably. Well, my when I didn't actually experience this, but it was like my brother. He's like a little bit older than me, and when he grew up, he was allergic to dogs, and so we had a dog in the house, and he was allergic to it. So my parents, we got rid of it because that's not healthy for a young child to be allergic to something that's not necessary. So we got rid of that, and we just always have grown up on cats for some reason. I
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
That's just. I guess that's the reason. Um,
I've
but
always
then,
been the other way around. I've been allergic to cats, so I've always
Oh.
been a dog person. I have like 3 dogs. Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm built Ford tough, so I'm not allergic to either. As the kids say. So
Yep.
I see both sides, man. Cats are freaking cute. I will say though that an evil cat is a straight up demon. Those
Yeah.
things are evil. But cute cats, which aren't too hard to find, are like really sweet and they're super fun. I mean, I love a good cat. But I think dogs are just like they are your friends. Like dogs will actually care about you, like cats will a bit, but dogs will like follow you to the end. And if you don't believe me, watch Hachi. Got me crying for weeks. No cap. All right,
Damn.
Mason. When you're not making music, what other hobbies do you have? What other pursuits do you have?
Um, I like to usually play, video games. That's always a
Okay.
go-to hobby.
What games?
Favorite games. I mean, right now currently it's Apex Legends.
Okay.
That one's
Yeah.
just fun.
What's your
But I used
rank?
to
What's
start.
your rank?
I think I'm plat 4.
Big man.
Flex,
Okay.
flex, flex.
Flex.
He's
Solo
working
Um,
out
queuing.
though. He ain't done.
He ain't done.
um, but I grew up playing Destiny and Destiny 2. Those are like probably
Oh,
my classics.
classics.
Yeah.
Those are like, I mean, those are probably like my favorite all-time games
Destiny 1 was great.
because I spent so much time on them and
Yeah.
my life on it.
Literally.
That's like probably my favorites.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah. Other hobbies. Um, I mean, working out. That's pretty fun.
Okay. Yeah.
What else? I mean, I play a little guitar. I know that's still music, but yeah.
Yeah, it's still a
Absolutely.
hobby.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have a music degree? Do you plan on getting one? And like, would you recommend one? What are your opinions on the college route? Because there are a lot of producers like Kenny Beats or other artists who will go to college and get like a master's or a bachelor's in
Hmm.
music theory to really learn more. But
Yeah,
would you say it's needed for the music industry at this point?
I would say it's not. I think YouTube has stepped up its game. There's a lot of good YouTubers out there and a lot of good videos out there on how to produce and how to produce well.
Okay.
Now, sure, it might limit you on certain things, like you just won't learn
Hmm. Yeah.
certain things of just like a college would teach you. Um, but I do not think it's necessary to do all the college for specifically music.
Okay.
Um, because there aren't like a whole lot of colleges out there, at least in the United States, that offer like a modern producing degree. There are a couple I've seen, um, but like most colleges will do like the traditional, whether it be like opera type singing or just like your classical instruments or music theory,
Hmm.
which music theory isn't bad, um, but it mainly offers those. But now there's like online master classes that a lot of different artists and different producers host, and I think some of those are actually probably pretty good, and because they actually the artists can teach you themselves what they've done, their tips,
Right.
and actually they've done it. Whereas like a college person, they're just a professor. Not saying that they haven't done anything in life, but it's more like this artist has done current work in the industry,
Yeah. And
giving
it's stuff
you
that
like
people listen to right now. And they got. Yeah. No, I get you.
yeah.
You can continue.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, I don't think it's necessary to have one,
So,
but
do you
I mean,
have one?
no, I do
And you
not.
don't plan on one, I assume.
I don't plan on getting one.
Okay. Okay.
If anything, I might would even just get like a something if I wanted to. I don't necessarily plan on it. Would be like a sound engineering type, audio engineering type degree
Which
where you're
would be
still in the
more
same
helpful for
field.
your route of music, which is mostly digital.
Yeah, this that degree usually works with more like whether that be like the studio setups and like the gear,
Okay.
and but it also could work with the hardware too, like creating that stuff and the speakers and the subs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You've already mentioned the sort of the non-necessity of needing a music degree and your opinions on young artists joining labels. Do you have any more tips for incoming musicians or anyone trying to learn more about the industry?
Okay, so I've always thought about this one. Because I always feel like there's certain things that like I discover when make music. It's like, oh, if I would have known that, X amount of years
Absolutely.
ago,
Yeah.
it would have
Mhm.
saved me like so much time.
Preach to us, Mason.
I mean, there's just certain things it's like more technical of just like, don't do this, don't do this. And it's just like certain things like that. Like, let me think. So,
On the
I mean,
general,
definitely
what can you
on the
recommend?
general, yeah. I would say it's gonna take a while. Like,
Okay.
one producer I heard say he started out when he was 18. It wasn't around till he was 28, 27 till it
Wow.
actually started making a living for him. Now I know there's some artists where they just like, they blow up overnight, and that's good for them. But if that's not the average artist, but
Absolutely.
it's gonna take a stupid amount of time, stupid amount of work. There's gonna be days where you feel like you're doing nothing good in this earth. Like you are doing nothing good today. Trying to make music, it's just so bad. Um, but you got to push through that because ultimately,
Yes.
if it's what you love to do, you're gonna find a way, and it's gonna work out for you because you can't sleep without it. You can't eat. You can't live without doing music. So if it's something you want to do, it's gonna work out one way or another.
Yeah, that
You just
makes
got to work
sense.
through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, something, people always tell you is they'll tell you, "Hey, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life." I'm sorry, that's a lie. Like there are days when it will feel like work. But
Yeah,
the more you love something, the less of those days you will have. So yeah, way to
yeah,
recommend that effort and patience because it's not easy.
yeah. Because you'll wake up in the morning one day, like going to a typical 9 to 5 job, and you'll be like, "I hate this. I don't want to
Absolutely.
go to work today." But if it's something like music and you like love to do music, and you wake up, you don't see it as like a burden or something you have to do that day. You get up and you're like, let's go make music from 7 all the way to midnight. And it's like you
you
don't see that as a job. You see that as like what you're loving to do, and then you're just happy. You go to bed that night and you're just kind of like, oh, that was a good day.
Yes, you make that choice, you are in control.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
is absolutely amazing.
the
Absolutely.
control is big. Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. So helpful. So how would you describe music has affected you or makes you feel? Because for instance, I play piano, and you watch almost any musician, especially any orchestra, watch those players play. They enter like a realm of music where
Hmm.
you live it, you move it, you feel it, you become one with your instrument. So do you have a similar feeling with producing? Like how does it make you feel or affect you?
Um, it's definitely like a go-to place. I wouldn't say so much. It's like a getaway because
Hmm.
I don't music just doesn't do that for me. We're just like I can escape.
No,
Maybe
that's
in the
not how you
future
treat
will,
it.
but like that's not how I treat it. But definitely when I'm producing, it's like look at my clock. It's 5 o'clock. Look at it. In my mind, 5 minutes later, it's 9 o'clock. It's like it just goes by just like that. I don't think about it. It just I'd be content spending my whole day making music. Like that.
You get
That's just
lost in
how I
it.
feel. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yep. If I play the guitar, that's probably more therapeutic than
Okay.
probably producing music
Yeah.
because I can have like hands on,
Hmm.
instantly hear it type thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Okay. All right. We're getting a little bit deeper, going down the iceberg. What is either the most important thing you've learned in life or the biggest tip you've learned in life? Like the biggest lesson. What would you say that is?
oh, it's a tough one.
Very tough. Very tough. Take your time, Reagan. If you have one, we'd love to hear yours as well.
Shoot, I'll think of something.
All right. I can think of
I
like
would probably
go for it, please.
I would probably say what was it the biggest like a lesson or something I've learned?
Yeah. Anything.
So mine would probably be like just follow your passion. I don't care what it is, whether
Okay.
it's you want to look at the stars for 12 hours of the day, even though the night's not even that big, but like but if you whatever your passion is, like I don't care if about the money. I don't care if I'll end up famous or rich or whatever. Like at the end of the day, I could die happy knowing, well, I spent my life doing music every single day, and that'd be I'd be content. Like I feel like most people these days they always what I think is we often teach when you're growing up, you're going to go to college. At least in America,
Absolutely.
it's a predominant like thing.
Yes.
Yep.
You're going to go to college, you're going to get a degree, you're going to go work a job you hate, and you're going to have a family and you're going to be happy. Air quote happy.
Yeah.
Um, but then, but I feel like that's not for everybody. Like that going
No.
into college is
It's
just not
not that cookie
for,
cutter.
yeah, it's like not everyone was good in school. Maybe they were better like working on cars or whatever. That wasn't usually taught in school of you making a V8 engine,
Yeah,
like, or
absolutely.
working down at an auto shop. Like that's not taught in school. Or you love to make music like I do. Like that's not usually taught in school. Like, oh, we're okay with you not going to college and you're just gonna go make music and try to make that work for you. That's not like usually looked great
It's
upon.
not
That's usually
promoted.
frowned upon. Yeah, and I feel like that ultimately, if you do something that you are not 100% into, you're gonna one day in time you're gonna hit something, and you're just gonna be like, "That's it. I hate this. I hate my life. This is going nowhere," and you're just gonna be back to square one.
Okay.
I think that we need to teach when growing up, teach children that you can do. I know it's always like you can do whatever you want or whatever,
But
but yeah,
literally, you
you actually
can't.
can. You can like literally, you're like a teenager. You're in your teens. People live to like 100 years old and they do whatever the heck they want. So you can literally go, and if you like planting flowers for 30 years of your life, and then you're like, that's not it for me anymore, and you want to go skydiving for the rest of your life, that that's your life.
Then
Like
do it.
I feel like we need to teach that for children growing up, that you can do whatever you want, and that the typical route is not always necessary to succeed in life.
No, I'd agree with that completely. And I think this is a question I'd ask everyone who came on here, a big lesson they've learned. And going off yours, Mason, I'd have to agree completely. Is that, especially as Americans, we're taught that, the goal is to make money, right? Go to college. But the more I've grown up, especially in my later years of high school, especially senior year, I've realized that I don't really care about getting rich as much. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I want to do something I enjoy and love. And like you were saying, if you enjoy it, then do it. You don't have to be rich. It's not a necessity. And if you love something more, I feel like it'd be easier to pursue that and become rich through it. The most
Yeah,
common analogy I like to think of that I heard from a motivational speaker was think of life as a video game, right? God gives you GTA freaking 56, all right? He says you can play it for a week. The first person to play this, right? And would you rather say, well, when you give it back after a week, would you rather say, yeah, I stayed in one spot. I didn't really go out and do very much. I didn't travel. I just kind of stayed in one place, made money, had a family, and died? Or would you rather say, I moved around, I explored the map, I did side quests, right? I lived it to its fullest. Like that's
that's
how
good.
I'd want to give it back.
Yeah, that was good.
So
You see, that's the dream, but I'm gonna throw the reality hammer down. All
go
right.
for it.
So, for me at least, the way I look at it is that, of course, you can go do all that. Like, you can try to do all that stuff, but the reality check comes in, and you got car payments, you got house payments. If you do start a family, it's payments, payments, payments. Right? It sucks, and that's just the reality. But as you know, you try to do something you love. Make sure you make a career out of it that you can afford things. That's just the reality.
Yeah, no,
Especially
that's true.
I'd agree with that. But I'd also like to say that, I mean, maybe you don't have to afford things. Like, there are people who don't own cars, who don't own
Right.
houses, and, like, all they do is they put their money back into what they love or travel. It really
Oh,
goes to where your
absolutely,
priorities lie. And I'd
absolutely.
agree with you. If
You'll
you want to
put
start a family, then that is absolutely, you need to
that
start
becomes
thinking
a
about
priority,
making
right?
some decent money. So
Right, right.
it's
It
different for
becomes a
everyone.
priority.
But at the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
baseline, I'd agree with what Mason has to say here is that pursue what you love.
Mhm.
Stop the agenda of go to college,
Oh yeah.
die.
I'm not going to college.
No, it is not a necessity.
Yeah, no. You learn a lot of good things in school. Don't get me wrong. Like
Oh, I'd say it's essential.
discipline. I would say
Absolutely.
a lot of, at least in the day and age of now, like there might not be as much discipline as there used to be in schools, but like I think discipline is necessary.
Mhm.
Responsibilities and all that. I mean, that
Yeah,
will get you far in life for sure once
absolutely.
you learn your responsibilities and that. But yeah, put all that work into doing something you love. Take bits and pieces from school, maybe that you know you need, and
Apply
throw
it.
out the stuff you don't need. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
All right, Mason. you've already mentioned that one of your future goals was having a collab. Tell us what your other future goals are in life or in music. Let us know.
Okay. Um. Hmm. So I mean, a goal would be I have some just like dream labels. Those would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call them dream labels. I want to call them goal labels, I guess, because
Oh
that's
yeah.
like more of like because I want to attain it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to just think about it.
Yeah.
There's like so either want to get on. There's Warner Records, which is like pretty big.
Mm.
That's pretty dope. There's Astral Works, which is like pretty big in the genre I do, and then there's Ophelia Records. Those are all like top
Top of
goal
the line.
records for me. Um, that would be like that'd be a goal of mine to get on one of those one day. Um, what else? Let me see. I mean, hmm, I would love to make a living out of what I do. Um,
Absolutely.
but also, I would love to play a lot of shows. That'd be so fun. There's this one venue in Colorado called Red Rocks. It's like an amphitheater
Oh
out of
yeah.
just like the rocks of Colorado. So it's just
Yes.
like built down.
Gorgeous.
It's so cool. A lot of or not a lot, like a good amount of the future bass artists, they usually play there. They might play together and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to play in.
That
Or just I would be content also just playing down at like the local like a whatever club or whatever, just playing like a show, not just like a DJ set of just like people dance and they're just doing like actually a show
an
where
actual show.
they're coming to see you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
that would be yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I have a good friend who is he plays in a bluegrass band, and they
Hmm.
recently performed, right. And for them, bluegrass has faded away. It isn't as much of a popular music anymore. It's sort of a Mumford and Son style banjo,
Hmm.
but with a mix of country. So it's a more difficult genre for them to succeed in. They've made one of their own songs, and it's definitely not easy. So I know
Yeah.
EDM is a bit more modern, but how competitive or difficult is music or your genre of music?
Well, I've heard it put this way that today's day and age, it doesn't you don't need skill to be good. Like if you're if you're gonna get famous, it's not off of skill. There's a lot of really good producers out there. Like a lot. Like everyone has the technology these days. Everyone has the access to the internet and other ways to learn. So it's not about skill. So if you're thinking you're gonna get good off of skill, that day is gone. Like now
Everyone
sure,
has the tools they need to succeed.
yeah. So sure, like when you had your first breakout artist like Martin Garrix, I think he was like 18, 19. He was like really young when he first got his real song Animals on
Okay.
Spinning Records.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he was like that was he was actually talented because he was so young and the record label thought of that as like this kid is going to be good and he ends up being like the top dude in the industry right now. Um but now there's just so many people out there making music where it's just kind of like it doesn't matter if you're good, which is the sad part because everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, my music's way better than XYZ." And it's like, "You should sign me to your label." When it's like, now you need a brand.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it was Kanye who put it this way, who's saying like people when you're an artist, you don't need a manager, you need a CEO. Like you're in business now. You're not just like an artist and stuff. You're a full on business and you need to promote yourself. You need to have marketing. You need to have all of the normal things that normal business would have
Hmm.
to get and be successful. So like
Because it's your product, right?
yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
sell it.
Yep. Exactly. So I think that we need to you like as an artist, like you need to treat it more like a business than just like this is something I do. Like, and the people will love me. Like, you have
Hmm.
to like treat it serious. I know that becomes boring trying to create what you love into more of the technical side of like typical business, but like that's just what you have to do these day and age. And if you can promote yourself and get like really famous just off of like social media and stuff like that, people are just gonna like your music because you have the numbers. I feel like.
In the words of Kanye, look at Gaga. What the fuck does she know about cameras? I think it's a perfect example. You're
Bars.
right. You build up a business, you know? It's not as
Yeah,
much like I'm better. It's your almost I see nowadays characters. Look at Oliver Tree. You know, he is a
yeah,
character, right? Look at
that's
all
what
these
people want.
artists who build up cult followings, not necessarily because of their music, because of who they are, right?
Yeah,
You need to stand
yeah.
out.
You need to create that personal connection of like, I'm a human. I'm not just behind a computer all day. People
Exactly.
want a face with the music.
No,
They want a
absolutely.
story. They want that sad, intimate side. They want that happy, hype side. They want that side of you feeding your dog at 2 in the morning on Instagram. Like that's what people want. They wanted to feel like
No, you're
you're
right.
a
They're
human too.
connected, yeah.
Because at the end of
Like
the
they
day,
know you.
they're no different than you and I. Like they're just like they're a normal human too. That's this their job, and they put it out there for people to see it.
Hmm.
And it's like we always like kind of put them on a pedestal of just kind of like, oh my god, they're so cool, they're so famous. I bet they literally just shop at Gucci all day,
Oh yeah,
and it's like,
absolutely.
now sure there might be some rappers and stuff like that that try to attempt to show off like that, but that's just not what your day looks like. It probably involves them waking up, working out, maybe sitting on the couch, doing their job, and then talking to their girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. And it's like
Rinse, repeat.
their life is literally no different than you and I. They just probably live in LA. That's
Exactly.
really
It's
that's the
the
only difference.
it's the portrayal. That's really what it is. Is people see what rappers and musicians show. That's why, a lot of rappers now look at Coi Leray. She got this iced out watch, and the thing about watches is they're very valuable, but when you put diamonds in them, it actually drops their value a ton. And she said,
Why is that?
I didn't know
because
that.
it's the originality. The diamonds that get put in those watches are very cheap diamonds. They're the diamonds that
Okay.
don't get accepted into real jewelry.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And rappers would say, I paid $100,000 for it. Yeah, you may have, but you're getting ripped off because that watch is worth less than it was originally. Your Richard Mille, your Rolex,
Right.
your AP, like they drop in value a ton. And they're like house investments. They almost always appreciate, but they ruin them unless they're factory set, which is set in diamonds by the factory.
Hmm.
Then it'll be worth a
Hmm.
lot. But really, they decrease their value a lot in watches.
Because they added it themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Because yeah, they add it in post. They
Yeah.
degrade what
The
these
originality.
artists have done. Exactly, they
mhm.
degrade it,
That can
and
be the same thing
and
with
it makes them all look
vehicles.
the same. All these other iced out diamonds just look the same, and
Yeah.
that's why Coloray, she says, I don't usually do that, but I have this one watch like that because that is the life I have to show. That's the life I have to lead as a rapper, to make
Mhm.
people keep people's attention. You have to be flashy.
Mm.
She says, I wear it on my microphone wrist every time, even though that's a right wrist, and you're not wearing your watch on your right wrist if you're right-handed.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's all about what you show people. So,
Yeah, I think that could go with the same thing about like vehicles or just anything really.
oh yeah,
Like vehicles, if you keep it original, don't do any modifications, either the price is going to keep appreciating, like it's going to keep going up
hmm,
because especially old cars now,
yeah,
keep it original. Holy smokes, you could sell that thing for a ton of money right now. But if you like mod it out, do your own modifications, change the color of it, put your own like suspension mods, either there's going to be certain buyers that really like that and want it, or
the
like in the
market's small.
wides in the wide spectrum of everything, it's gonna people aren't gonna want that because they completely changed it from original. So yeah.
Absolutely. And this is a whole rabbit trail. I could go on and on about watches. I love watches. But back to Mason. We're almost done here. Uh, what you said that you want to make music your living eventually. What other professional pursuits would you want or have to hold you over while you're making music until you can live off it financially?
Oh, oh. um, I mean, right now I'm in college, so maybe I'll we'll see if I get the degree. But if I finish what I start, I'll probably get a degree somewhere in the business field, and I guess I'll
Yeah.
be doing that, so whatever that entails, just to try to, because it's a guaranteed paycheck.
No, absolutely.
Music isn't. It's like if you created a song this week versus if you didn't, depends if you get paid. So,
Right.
or that's kind of like a guaranteed paycheck. So I guess it'd be more of just like a typical job and trying to find time to work on music after that. But if I can see that I'm already having success before I get a job, then that's great because then I can make a living off that. But if not, I guess it's just gonna be like a typical 9 to 5 job that probably is not gonna be my favorite unless I can get like a degree in like sound engineering or audio engineering
Yeah.
and it's similar.
I would say if you don't have, your music thing, you're not, on your own yet or doing whatever, you're successful by yourself and you need a job, look at jobs within the music industry, even like a music shop,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or anything like that. Because
Anything that
from
pertains to your
there-
professional field.
right? Because from there you might meet someone that
Yeah, that's true actually.
you can get connections within that
Mhm.
industry. So I would say do that, something like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Something
actually
I've
a
always
good
been
idea.
taught is outsourcing. Always try and outsource yourself to more and more people, as difficult as that may be, especially as an introvert. Um, my, always outsource yourself to try and meet new people and create opportunities, right?
Mhm.
And from what I've learned about you, Mason and Kai, is that really music is your heart. It doesn't matter what you're doing professionally as long as you can still make music. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
as much to you, which I respect that.
Oh, for sure.
So, all right, Mason. Well, I think I'm just about done. Reagan, do you have any other questions you have for Mason?
Shoot, not really. Not that I can think of.
Yeah, Mason. Do you play any other games, or is it just Apex?
It's been just Apex in the moment. We going pro.
He's going pro.
I'm joking.
Hey, TSM phase, if you see this boy, sign him, okay?
Sign me, bro.
HyperX, he needs a sponsorship, okay?
Hey, Red Bull, hit me up.
Red Bull, baby.
That'd
Yeah.
be so dope to be sponsored by like Red Bull.
Geico,
Yeah,
bruh.
for
Dude, I want to
real.
be sponsored by Sprite. That's my dream sponsorship.
LeBron
Not,
James, bro.
not even kidding. Not even kidding. Sprite, sponsor me, please.
That'd be dope.
Dude, I would literally just have a mini fridge with me full of nothing but Sprite. And it'd be like,
Just like on, like
That'd
have a
be
backpack.
incredible.
have a backpack. Dude, what if I
Backpack
just
that's refrigerated?
what if I just put straps on a mini fridge?
That would actually be better.
That'd be
Well, how would you power the mini fridge?
Dude, I'll just have like a generator and a cart just always following me.
Don't ruin it, Reagan.
I'm sorry.
Don't ruin my immersion. I'm not kidding. I will wrap a frickin' Bugatti with a Sprite wrap, the massive logo on the
That wouldn't
hood.
be bad.
That wouldn't be bad, yo. Call it the Sprite Mobile. I'll go around to
Yeah,
like
change the Bugatti symbol. Just make the word
Just-
What
Sprite.
color is your
Right.
Bugatti? What color is your Bugatti?
Sprite, actually. Dude, I would go to homeless neighborhoods like Kanye. Instead of giving out money, I just give out Sprites.
It's the simple
Doing
things.
God's work.
It's the
Doing God's
doing
work.
God's work. Exactly. All right.
God's plan.
Well, people, thank you very much. Mason Kai, thank you once
Thank
again
you.
for coming out.
Thank you
Yeah,
all.
that was
been a
that was
blast.
informational.
I've loved
Very
learning about
cool.
music. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, so that was interesting.
Absolutely. Reagan, thank you very much for co-hosting. Reagan will be on a lot more, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. People, once again, Mason, all of his links will be in the description, so please check him out. Check out his music. It's quality. I should know. I've listened to it. He's definitely got
Yeah.
skills. Collabs,
DM
reach out
me.
to him. DM him, please. He needs a lady. Any.
Yep.
He's a woman.
Yep.
He is a
that
woman.
works too. That
Or man, he's very flexible now.
works.
So,
No, just women. or other artists. Not men artists or women artists. Anybody's good. Just if you're looking for a relationship, only female, please. That's
so
the way I swing.
if you guys would like to
No
see more, show it to other people, please pass it around, subscribe,
Yeah.
and if you would like to be on the podcast, man, we'll take anyone. Let us know in the comments below any interesting stories you've had. If you have any life lessons, hit us up. We will DM you back. Thank you very much for watching, and I guess we'll see you guys in any next video. Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.